We begin by coveting what we see every day. Don't you feel eyes moving over your body, Clarice? Don't your eyes seek out the things you want?
All right, yes.
In Silence of the Lambs, Jack Crawford acts as a surrogate, a focus for one of the film's key narratives. On the outset, his character is rather bland. He drives the plot by giving orders to the central protagonist, Clarice Starling, and helps to inform the viewer of the case updates.
There's no evidence of rape or physical abuse prior to death.
He gets more screen time than the film's central antagonist, Buffalo Bill, and appears in just as many scenes as the film's other villain, Hannibal. He works to further the case, often by talking with Starling much in the way that Hannibal does. However, nothing about his conversations with Starling capture the audience's attention in the same way as when Starling is thrown into the pit with Lecter. So, what makes Crawford an interesting character? Well, the actual character of Crawford is exactly as I described, a blank slate to act as a comforter and enhancer to our protagonist. But Jonathan Demme's impeccable camera and a few lines from Hannibal change these bland scenes into a waiting game.
Jack Crawford is helping your career, isn't he? Apparently he likes you and you like him too.
I never thought about it.
Do you think Jack Crawford wants you sexually? True, he is much older, but do you think he visualizes scenarios, exchanges, fucking you?
Throughout Silence of the Lambs, the camera fixates itself on the eyes of the lustful. It's a feeling that Starling has come to know all too well. Demme understands he's crafting a horror film, so the repeated motif of eyes on Clarice, from her fellow officers to Buffalo Bill, accentuate this terrifying feminine feeling of weakness or objectivity. This is a feeling almost exclusive to Starling compared to her male counterparts, and it actually ends up solving the case.
What did Lecter say about the first principles?
Simplicity.
What does this guy do? He covets. How do we first start to covet?
We covet what we see.
Every day.
Hot damn, Clarice.
You knew her.
Ideas are tricky and powerful. Much like the horrific ideas of being alone and hunted in the dark, sexual perversions, cannibalism, body mutilation, torture, unblinking eyes, and being held hostage, Lecter implants an equally horrific idea in the mind of the viewer.
Do you think Jack Crawford wants you sexually?
When Lecter conceives of the idea that Crawford wants Starling sexually, Starling is able to brush it off, much like she brushes off the other looks that everyone gives her. However, the viewer is not able to so easily let it go. The audience knows Crawford's keen awareness of Starling's gender, a moment that highlights his awkward desire to protect her.
Right now,
Sheriff, this type of sex crime has certain aspects I just as soon discuss in private. You know what I mean?
As other prophecies of Lecter come true, the audience waits in anticipation for her supervisor to make an unwanted advance. The final scene of the film wraps up Lecter's storyline, but immediately preceding that comes Crawford's final goodbye. One last chance for Lecter to be right. It ends with a question. Does Lecter know the truth? Some viewers will leave only seeing what Lecter first saw, the piggish nature of the male workforce, while others will see the friendly handshake as a final goodbye to both the characters and Lecter's unfounded guesses.